Am I the asshole for driving myself to get pads? I, 18F, recently went on a trip with my mom, 50F. We drove her car down to an Airbnb where we stayed for a couple of weeks. I have been on birth control since I was about 15 for irregular, painful, and heavy periods. Save for a few times that I've forgotten to take the pill, I haven't had my period in years. For some reason, my birth control just decided to stop working while we were on this trip. I was taking it consistently and on time, but I ended up getting my period anyway. Because I haven't had my period in years, I was unprepared both physically and materially. I had no pain relievers and, most importantly, no pads or tampons. We weren't in walking distance of any stores, and frankly I wasn't comfortable walking alone in an unfamiliar neighborhood regardless. I asked my mom if she could drive me to go get pads, and she said we would later. By the next day, I had bled through multiple pairs of underwear. I asked her again, and she said she would go when she had time. I asked if I could just drive myself, and she told me no. I understand her reasoning. I'm a young driver, her car isn't one I'm super familiar with, and we're in a new area. I get it. But it essentially meant I just had to wait for her to get me what I needed. I reminded her a few times over the next few days. Even after washing my underwear, it was stained and gross and essentially unwearable. Toilet paper didn't do much to help as a makeshift pad. Eventually, I decided I just needed to do it myself. While she was out, I took her car to the nearest convenience store, maybe a 10-minute drive, and got what I needed. Before I left, I sent her a text saying I was going to grab the pads and that she didn't need to worry about it. When I got back, she was waiting for me and pissed. She told me that she said I wasn't allowed to use her car. I told her that I had no other way to get to the store. She said that she would have gone and gotten what I needed, but I reminded her that I had been asking for days. I feel like I didn't have much else choice. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Needing period products is not a "we'll go when I have time" situation. It's an immediate need. As a woman, if a mere acquaintance asked for a ride to get hygiene products, I'd take them ASAP. I can't imagine making someone you love wait days. I hope this is a made-up story. Not the asshole. Listen, you essentially stole her car, and that is illegal, but my God, why would your own mother wait days while you're actively bleeding to go get menstrual products for you? I'd be livid if my mom did that to me, not that she ever would, but still. When she had time, what were you both doing at this Airbnb for days where you never left the house? Did your mom drive past locations that sell menstrual products and just not stop knowing that you were free bleeding in your clothing? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Is she always this neglectful? Not the asshole. It's weird and not okay for your mom to ignore you for days on this. Am I the asshole for singing at my sister's wedding? I, F17, have an older sister, F23, who got married last weekend. The wedding had all of the extended family from her side and the grooms, and we both have big families, so the wedding was pretty big. During the reception, my aunt had requested a song from the DJ and went up to the microphone by the dance floor and started singing along to a Katy Perry song. I assumed she just spontaneously did this, and that this wasn't pre-planned. I just assumed this was something any guests could do, as a bit later my other sister did the same thing with a different song. Afterwards, I requested a song, Yellow by Coldplay, if that makes a difference, and sang it. My sister, the bride, was giving me a weird look with her hands on her hips the whole time. Towards the end of the reception, when most of the guests were leaving, my sister called me embarrassing and asked why I got up and sang at her wedding. I said that I didn't understand the problem and pointed out that our aunt and other sister also sang. She explained they were pre-planned as a surprise and songs that she wanted them to sing. She said that I sing really badly, and she hadn't asked me to sing, and that I should have checked with her. I was really taken aback because no one mentioned to me they were planned to sing. How was I supposed to know? I felt really embarrassed and apologized. Although I didn't really mean it, I just wanted the conversation to be over. And she said that her wedding isn't about me. I think she'll get over it, but am I the asshole? The person at fault here is the DJ. At my wedding, the DJ did not take any requests that were not approved by my husband or myself. OP's sister should be mad at the DJ and stop beating up on a 17-year-old. I doubt one song ruined her whole ceremony. Gentle, you are the asshole because you're 17 and probably still learning social norms about weddings and life lessons about making assumptions. It's generally a bad idea to do something attention-seeking at someone's wedding. Other people doing it doesn't mean you can without permission from the bride and groom. If your aunt and sister had sung without permission, they would have also been exhibiting asshole behavior, and that wouldn't have made your choices okay. A sincere apology is what really makes the difference here. It may be helpful to acknowledge that you actually hurt your sister's feelings, and treat her like her feelings matter to you in this situation. You are the asshole. This wasn't a random karaoke party. Even if you thought it was, you could have simply checked with either your sister or either singer first. Also, as a fellow terrible singer, why would you subject them to it, especially something like Coldplay? This is one of those moments, 10 years from now, that you guys will laugh off. Because it's a little bit funny. I'm just picturing you belting out Coldplay, poorly apparently. LMAO. Look, everyone knows a wedding reception isn't spontaneous karaoke, so yeah, you are the asshole for not reading the room and just grabbing the mic. You are the asshole. You're Theashole for doing it in the first place, and Theashole for not being sincere in your apology. You're young, we get it. You assumed, you felt embarrassed. Not everything is about you. You owe your sister a sincere apology. Would I be the asshole if I spent the money meant to pay someone who did a job for me? Update. I found him, thanks to a suggestion. I search his phone number on PayPal or Venmo. I found him on PayPal, sent him $550 and a note thanking him for his excellent work and his kindness. Thanks for all of the kind words here, and for some of you, thanks for the laughs and giggles. To put some minds at ease, I'm 1000% positive he didn't bury anything under the chicken coop, as it is built on asphalt. LOL. I, F70, have backyard chickens. I plan to have a new, bigger coop built for them this year. My regular contractor ghosted me a couple times for an estimate, so I was whining to my lawn guy about that. My lawn guy said he knew a guy that would probably be willing to do it, and he probably / would n, right single quotation, mark T / ask for money. I said I would feel bad if someone did all that work and didn't get paid for it. This is important for later. Lawn guy gave my number to a guy, Jason, who texted me and arranged for him to come look at the site and discuss what I wanted. He was stoked about the job and asked if it would be okay if he came after work each day during the week. I told him I didn't care when he did it, as long as it was done by the end of July. It occurred to E after he left that we'd never discussed his fee, other than him saying, I work cheap. I ordered the materials online from Home Depot, then Jason and I went there and picked it up with his truck. I paid for everything. For the next couple weeks, he came by after work. He finished the job a week before the end of July. After he picked up all the building materials and loaded his truck, I asked him, how much do I owe you? He said that he'd need to figure that out since he'd picked up a few things at Home Depot and needed to calculate his costs, and that he'd let me know. That was on July 24th. As of today, November 17th, I have not heard from Jason to pay him. I have texted him 7 times, called him 2 times, even asked lawn guy to pass along that I am still looking to pay him for his work. I have been unable to contact Jason, and lawn guy is apparently reluctant to disclose any personal information about Jason, and kind of smiles when he says that. My son, an attorney, says that since we didn't discuss a price and there's no contract, and I bought the materials, I am not legally obligated to pay him if he shows up a year from now looking for the money. Also, the fact that lawn guy said Jason would probably do it for free tells me that Jason had no intentions of taking money for the job. Why, I have no idea. Sometimes I joke that I got reverse scammed. He did the work and ghosted me for the money rather than taking the money and not showing up for the work. I'm not complaining, but I feel bad that he did all that work in the brutal heat and I haven't been able to pay him. My thought is to hang on to the money until the end of the year, and if I haven't heard from him, use it to replace my sump pump that is limping along. I feel like I have done my due diligence in trying to contact him. I only have his phone number and first name, tried reverse lookup on his phone number, and came up empty. So, would I be the asshole if I spend this money if my deadline passes and he hasn't claimed his money? Not the asshole, but what did he bury in your yard? You seem like a good-hearted person. It's likely he won't ask for money at this point, but to be safe what I would do is get $200 in $20s, put it in an envelope, and stash it away till the spring. If he comes back around you'll have something set aside. If not, then assume it's all been settled. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Ask your lawn guy if he knows anything about fixing sump pumps. Not the asshole. Maybe he's just a kind dude. If he does come back after you've spent the money, and you want to pay him then, you can figure it out later. But since it's been months and he ghosted you, he probably won't come back for it. How much do you pay the lawn guy, and how old/how well off is Jason? I'm a trot-eye. If I was bored and a close friend said this old lady, who's been really good to me, could use a favor from needs a hand, mind helping her out, I might do it for free depending on the scope. Kinda sounds to me like Jason and your yard guy wanted to do something nice for you, but didn't want to hurt your pride. Based on this post, I kind of expect that you're already paying it forward, but just continue to do that. Am I the asshole for treating my kids differently due to their own decisions? Having disagreement with my wife. Kid 119 male saves money, and I've been teaching him about investing, and he is very interested. Kid 217 male saves no money from doing the exact same work during the same time period. Spends it all on his friends, and despite my guidance cares little about saving or investing. Kid 314 female just started working this year, and has 7 times more money than Kid 2, which was a pleasant surprise to me the way she has taken responsibility, and has taken an interest in investing. They have all held the exact same summer job, except Kid 1 is now old enough to legally work as an adult, so he can work during the school year. With Kid 1 I sold him a car for $5,000 which he paid for in cash. Car was worth around $9,000. I tried giving him my old stick shift, but he didn't like it and wanted a bigger car. I let them make their decisions, so I sold him our other car. Well, that car had a major breakdown within 6 months of him giving us $5,000. So in an effort to make things right, I bought it back from him, and we agreed to use it to put a down payment down on a RAV4. I also cover 1/2 the payment, but he pays insurance and 50% of the loan payment. With Kid 3 we are looking to set up a child's investment account, and I've also borrowed money from her, and I am paying it back in interest. Her bank account doesn't have access to CDs or lightweight investments, so I set up the bank of Daddy and pay her interest. With Kid 2 I've attempted to correct bad spending behaviors that he has. He has next to no money. I mean, they've all gotten the same talks, the same education, the same offer of help. But I don't control what they actually do with their money. So he hangs out with friends and likes to throw money around, which at his age isn't a huge red flag for me, but it does limit what I can actually do with him right now. And at his age, Kid 1 had nearly $10,000 to his name. My wife has noticed the dealings I've had with each kid, and somehow thinks I need to correct the situation so Kid 2 can feel more included. However, in my view I'm doing the exact same thing with them all. They're all included, and only limited by their own decisions. He's upset he doesn't have money, but he also gets upset when I try to tell him why ordering $60 worth of Wendy's for 2 people through DoorDash is a terrible idea. I know there's things I could do to make him happy, but the most important part of financial education is teaching discipline, which won't be learned by bailing him out of his decisions. Edit. I did not say in OP that I needed to borrow money from my daughter. If you read the entire sentence, I explained exactly what I was doing, acting as a bank. Edit. The focus of my post was the difficulty between me and my wife and her perception of how I was handling it. I did not indicate that me and Kid 2 have some sort of contemptuous relationship. There is plenty we have in common and do together. No, he doesn't have ADHD. No, I don't disclude him. Yes, making shit up about us is on you. The people who are asking questions are great. The people hurtling darts are just keyboard warriors looking for the worst in people. Not the asshole, but the money isn't the issue. It's his desire to feel generous and important and needed/wanted by his friends. This is a dangerous habit because it's an emotional one that can really derail his life if it becomes a permanent coping mechanism. Forget the money for a minute. How do you address the underlying cause? Why are you borrowing money from a 14-year-old? Info. What exactly has your wife suggested in order to correct this situation? Surely if she thinks that correction is possible, she has suggestions on tactics. Obviously your kids aren't clones, even though they've had the same home life. Are you making sure Kid 2 has enough money sense to function as an adult? However, he needs to be taught it, not necessarily what worked for your other 2. Not the asshole. You are doing everything exactly right. Imagine how unfair it would feel for the other 2 kids to sacrifice their immediate wants to save up, and then have Kid 2 essentially handed free money for being irresponsible. Kid 2 would be learning a horrible lesson that he doesn't have to save or be fiscally responsible, and he will still reap the same rewards as everyone else. Financial literacy is one of the most important skills we teach our kids, and you are 100% right here. Not the asshole. You're not obligated to bail kid 2 out, but remain available and open-minded for when he does want to make some changes in his life. It's the love and time you give your kids that's important.